12 o'clock.
Yes. Shall we get started?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Happy New Year to you all. And I am Carla Valenzuela, the CEO of the Costa Mesa Chamber of Commerce. And we're very pleased to have with us several presenters today that are going to present on the Triangle Square Renovation Signage Program. And this will be a project overview of the Triangle Square Plan and the Updated Signage Program, and discussing the project on how to revitalize downtown Costa Mesa, retain and attract valuable tenants with Triangle Square, within the Triangle Square, and creating revenues benefiting the city of Costa Mesa, and providing new advertising opportunities for the local Costa Mesa businesses on a 3 proposed LED screens. So this is an exciting project and that's in process. And we're going to get started. We have today with us 2 speakers, and I will introduce, the first speaker will be Tyler Mateen. Tyler Mateen is a real estate investor and developer who focuses on buying underutilized retail properties and returning them to their optimum operating capabilities. Working with 300+ retail tenants across the country and analyzing a broad range of retail-focused businesses, Tyler is a hands-on landlord who works with existing tenants on how to improve their businesses by helping increase traffic and lowering operating expenses. His methods focus on increasing business awareness through signage and working with tenants on implementing technologies to better track analytics. And he focuses on attracting new business to vacancies and convincing business owners to take risk at his properties. And with that, Tyler.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
the intro. And thanks for everyone for listening. Yeah, we wanted to present to you what we intend to do with the signage program. We have a few tenants, I think, that are here, and for anyone else who's in the city, that's a business and cares about business in Costa Mesa, just wanted to present why this is a tremendous benefit. So thank you all for taking the time and for listening to what we have to say.
Thank you.
And I'm also going to introduce our second, I was just going to quickly introduce Cora Newman as well. Cora Lee Newman will be our presenting as well. Cora Lee Newman's real estate development career has been focused on entitlement and community outreach. She began her efforts in 1980 with the landmark approval of the redevelopment of the historic Balboa Fund Zone. The project was granted unanimous approval by both the City of Newport Beach and the California Coast Commission, supported by the local community, and was featured as the cover article in Orange Coast magazine. These efforts led Ms. Newman to the Irvine Company, where she was a vice president of entitlement and community issues. During her 10-year career with the Irvine Company, I apologize. During her 10-year career with the Irvine Company, she led teams on large entitlement efforts, including Jamboree Center in Irvine, Tustin Ranch in Tustin, and the approval of a 12,000-acre East Orange general plan. Ms. Newman holds a BA in political science from San Diego State University. She attended the MIT Harvard program on negotiation and was given the National Association of Women-Owned Businesses Orange County's Pioneer of the Year Award. She is a 7-year member of Vistage, a CEO organization focused on corporate excellence.
I cleaned it. It's not here.
You're on.
I'm not on.
You're on audio.
We're sorry. We are having phone technical difficulties. We switch phones on this phone now because we couldn't get on with our other phone. It's having battery issues. So do you want to give us a minute to resolve this? Carla, I'm sorry. We can't.
Sure.
Yeah, hold on just a minute.
Thanks, just a second.
All right.
Oh. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us. We may not be able to show our PowerPoint presentation, so I will go.
The PowerPoint's fine. It's just your video is gonna be off.
Oh, we'll put the PowerPoint up. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Cora, why don't we just go ahead and start on
Yeah,
the
okay, there we
PowerPoint if
go.
can-
I didn't even know that that would
Give
work,
me a
so.
second, please. Hold on just a second. There we go.
Okay, great.
Okay. There we go. Can you hear me also?
Yes.
I don't think anybody, okay, thank you.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, members of the chamber. Sorry for the technical glitch. I just watched, I don't know if you guys watched Masterclass, but Daniel Pink was on there and he said, this is one of everybody's worst nightmare, doing a Zoom meeting and all your technology goes down. We represent Tyler Mateen and Triangle Square and getting the approval, ultimate approval for the signage program that we're going to show you this afternoon for Triangle Square. This is a very, Katie, this is a very important program for Triangle Square. Tyler's hired a top-notch team, including Salbert Perkins Design and the Lighting Design Alliance. And those of you that are in the retail commercial industry will appreciate the level of play these two companies are at. They've done a lot of work in Los Angeles. They actually did the entrance signage to LAX and many prestigious retail and commercial hotels, retail centers, residential communities throughout California. So Tyler went out and actually Lighting Design Alliance was the recommended company by the city of Costa Mesa. And they have been important because lighting is extreme. It's a very technical topic as it comes to community outreach and moving through the community process. A lot of people have asked, why do you even have to go to public hearings for signage? It seems sort of basic. The reason is on this particular project is we are adding additional square footage in terms of signage, and the LED signage program itself requires city approval at the Planning Commission and ultimately at the City Council. And finally, we are doing a development agreement, which many of you, if you're in the development industry, you have probably managed before or been involved with one, but the development agreement legally requires an approval at the City Council. So that's why we're here. That's why we're asking for the chamber's support and the business community support, because we do have to go through public hearings, and we do have we have an advocacy program that we need your help on. As many of you know, Triangle Square, you all know this, you're there, but we are in a very unique location. We are bordered by Harbor Boulevard, Newport Boulevard, 19th Street, and the 55 freeway comes down to the intersection of 19th and Newport Boulevard. I live in this neighborhood. I raise my children in this neighborhood. We have gone to Triangle Square since its opening. And as many of you know, it is now celebrating 25 years of doing business in Costa Mesa. It was officially opened in 1993. It is a large center in the retail world. It is 4 acres in size. And we are really trying to take advantage of, through the LED signage, take advantage of the tremendous amount of car trips that are traveling by this location, not only on Newport Boulevard, Harbor Boulevard, 19th and 55. So we've got hundreds of thousands of vehicles traveling by the center and very little pedestrian traffic. So we have to take advantage, as in Tyler's introduction talked about, we have to be strategic in taking advantage of the vehicular traffic here in terms of signage. Many of you know and are celebrating that went to the Yard House 20th anniversary It celebrated that in November 2019. They've been a great addition and a participant in Triangle Square. I think that's when for all of us that live here, this has been one of our main hangouts over the years. I know this is part of their celebration that they did in November 2019, and they included the Costa makers in that celebration. And in Triangle Square, we have Cafe Sevilla. We're just highlighting a few of the things. We have La Vida Cantina, Tavern and Bowl, and the Starlight Triangle Square Cinemas. We additionally, this was the Costa Makers community event, and they also had this mural painted by a local artist, Costa Mesa artist. I should mention we also have Time Nightclub in the center. We have Black Night Lounge. We have 24-hour fitness, and we have many other interesting uses that will be coming forward. We're going to jump right to the LED part of this. This is the part of the signage program. No one has really commented or cares about the traditional signage that is being improved, but the LED signage has been the thing that has caused some concern by some of the community members. I think Carla hit on this in the beginning, but the point of this program is to bolster tenant support. At the last round of this in April, we did get tremendous letters from our tenants, and we really appreciate that, and we're looking forward to their support again. I know there were a number of letters from Black Knight Gastro Lounge and their employees, which was really great. La Vida Cantina and Cafe Sevilla have also been extremely supportive in writing letters, and we're going to be asking at the end of this that we also get people to call to the Planning Commission on February 8th. But the support, and even in talking to some of the planning commissioners, they have emphasized that the support from the existing tenants is very important to get the approval of this LED digital sign program. So we're trying to sustain and attract our top-notch tenants. We're trying to maximize the financial benefits of our geographic location, as I talked about a minute ago. We're trying to elevate our communication through adaptable methods. And one thing that I've learned, and you'll see when we show you this, that I was not aware of until I got involved with Tyler and the team, the beauty of LED signage is that it is extremely adaptable because it can be changed, and much easier flow in terms of new tenants or existing tenants or tenants that want to make announcements. LED has the ability to adapt. And finally, it will contribute to the community with vibrant offerings and revenue for the city of Costa Mesa. Some examples of promotional signage that tenants can have, which we're all looking forward to being back. And I heard that the restaurants did really well now that we're reopened by the governor, but discounted movie nights at Starlight Cinema, Taco Tuesdays at La Vida Cantina, football Sundays at the Art House, and upcoming performers at Time Nightclub. I think we're all looking forward to being able to participate in those events again. So what's this digital signage program about? We are proposing, well, Tyler's team is proposing digital signage at 3 locations. One of them is at the existing corner. Well, there's an existing sign that helps us orient ourselves where Keys on Main is. So this is Harbor Boulevard and Newport Boulevard, where the intersection is. So this location, this is the existing conditions. We're going to show you what we're proposing here, but this is one of 3 corners that we're proposing to put a new digital LED sign. And there again is the aerial of the corner itself, and then that is the proposal for what the digital sign could look like. So these digital signs are for tenants and can be for community city messaging, can be community art, etc. 10% of the sign program does have to go to community messaging. The other 90% is for business messaging. The next sign, as you know, as we drive down 19th Street, so as we drive 19th Street towards Newport Boulevard and towards the freeway, and towards Mother's Market, which we all utilize a lot. This would be the proposed signage there. So it's right above the 24-hour fitness, and it would wrap around. The proposal is to wrap it around that corner in that location. The final and probably the sign that's caused the most discussion with the community is what we are calling the dome. And the confusion or concerns that came out were that I don't think people, well, we know that people didn't realize at first that they thought that digital was being proposed all the way on top of the dome, which it is not. It is only being proposed for what we're calling the dome wrap, which now is a sign. It was not Time Nightclub. Now it's, as you notice, if you've been out there, there's a sign for Providence Hospital on that dome wrap. And two things have happened, which we'll explain, that have improved this dome wrap from the community perspective. One is that the community, and I think everybody, it was not clear from just looking at the plans themselves that the dome wrap that's being proposed is 50% less in circumference than what currently exists. So when this becomes an LED dome wrap, it will not go completely around the circumference as it does now. So this, what happens from a community standpoint, a neighborhood standpoint, this really improves the visibility, or where it orients the sign directly to the intersection where we want it to be seen. And it pulls it away from the neighborhoods where we do not want it to be seen. And we demonstrate that through some photo simulations. The second thing that we did, we have done four.
This just shows that again.
This shows this again in terms of the how much it's brought in. And so the blue strip, you can see that's Newport Boulevard elevation. You can see how much white's left that will no longer be a signage. So we have done 4 community outreach meetings. We have touched, at least tried to touch, on over 3,000 people, either through mailers and emails that addresses that we had. And in doing that, we did get a comment from a neighbor saying, wait a minute, I can see that signage from my house. So we went over to his house. It's on Church Street, excuse me. And because we said, would you let us come over and visit? And he said, sure. So we did, and he was right. So where you see that purple strip, that's right now where the existing Triangle Square lettering is.
The left is the existing.
Yeah, I know, but the purple shows where
This was previously proposed.
yeah, that's where it was, excuse me, that's where the lettering is, and that was what previously was proposed. We were at that height. So now we have lowered the sign itself. So the current proposal is the final picture, which Katie's pointing to, where the language says currently proposed dome LED display. So by lowering the display by 6 feet, we took it completely out of the view of the neighbors. And this has given us a lot of positive response from the community. So now we're going to show you what happened. And we will do a view sim. These view sims, by the way, have been done by the lighting specialists and by the signage group. So these are what I would call scientifically engineered. These are accurate in terms of what you will see at these locations. Now, in this location, from a retail standpoint and from a tenant standpoint, you want to see the sign. And this is where it was meant to be prominent. So you're looking at this as you're pulling into the intersection of the Newport Freeway and 19th and Newport Boulevard, going on to Newport Boulevard. And these are examples of different types of signage that will be allowed on the dome wrap. But in this location, again, and from a retail tenant standpoint, the point is we want to be seen. We want to enhance the retailer's ability to promote themselves, and we want to enhance the ability to make Triangle Square vibrant.
So if I could just elaborate, thanks.
Sure.
Maybe we just keep showing like what the screens look like, but I just wanted to just explain what the main intent is here. So I think just to start off, these signs would be the biggest win that Triangle Squares had, I think, in the past 20 years. As Cora mentioned, we have hundreds of thousands of vehicles a day driving by the center. So we have this immense opportunity to market our tenants and to generate revenue from the signs and for the city. But we don't have much natural foot traffic. We're also an entertainment center, so our programming is constantly changing. I know Zach and Alan are both here from Time Nightclub, so you know, and I've spoken to you about this before, but the signs, for example, would say, you know, DJ Tiesto can perform at our nightclub this Thursday or Friday, or whatever, and we're gonna have this system where you know, the tenants can log in and, you know, put, you know, what the programming is for that night, and we'll have an allocation. So we'll work with everyone to kind of get what they need to on their key nights. We'll work on distribution and stuff like that to make sure that, you know, tenants can utilize the tool on the nights that they need it. For example, Taco Tuesdays at La Vida. Cafe Sevilla has their tapas, I think, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so we could split it up there. And I know that Time Nightclub does most of their programming on the weekends. So obviously, you know, our main intent here is to work with the tenants on the days that they need the signage, to use it as a tool to maximize their income. And if you think about the value that could create for the tenants and the amount of people really just driving off that freeway, I have, you know, it's going to dramatically increase the sales that we generate here, especially because we're an entertainment center. This isn't just a branding play, it's a real drive and notice play, as in most of these people don't even know what's going on here tonight, but imagine if you could just let people know what's going on. I'm sure you would understand the dramatic impacts that could have on a business, especially with the programming types that we've got at the center. You know, we can talk about certain movies being shown, we can talk about the bowling alley, we can talk about basically anything. On top of it, we're going to be generating income for the center itself. And you know, there's tons of programs that we want to kind of improve at the center right now. You know, the center isn't too profitable. We have high operating expenses, and you know, it's not, you know, it's got tons of issues in terms of operating. So some of the time on the screen will be rented out to advertisers, which will really help us sustain the center and keep it a top-notch place. We have a program that we're going to spend like $3.5 to $4 million replacing all the flooring, improving, you know, all the, I don't know if it's hard for me to show, but there's tons of programming that we can change at the center with the common areas, where if we start generating income, we can turn it into more of a high-end caliber destination, like a Rick Caruso type thing, or a South Coast Plaza type thing, where, you know, during Christmas time we'll have like better Christmas trees and better art exhibits and stuff like that. So anyhow, I think that the main thing here to us and to our tenants is that if we get this passed, you know, that close to 180,000 vehicles a day driving by, even if we convert a certain percentage of them to our tenants, is going to turn into a drastic improvement in sales. And it's the biggest thing I think that we could ever do at this center. So I guess we'll just
Thank you,
keep going,
Tyler.
showing videos. But
Okay, thank you. That was really, really excellent. Okay. We'll just quickly go through the rest of it. Again, we were showing you the main one, is what Tyler was explaining. This is 19th and Church, and in this case, we're trying to show that we do not have impacts on the residential neighborhood, but you can still see the signs as you're driving on 19th Street. This is basically standing in 19th Street across from others.
Do you want to move
Yeah.
through these more
Yeah.
quickly? Okay.
And then we moved to Flower Street. And again, the reason we were doing these visualizations was so that we can get an approval, as Tyler said, we can get an approval at the Planning Commission and City Council. And we had to demonstrate, we're doing a balancing act here. We're trying to promote the tenants and Triangle Square to the best of Tyler's team's ability on the one hand. On the other hand, we also have to demonstrate that we're being sensitive to the residential community. So that's what we're showing and demonstrating here. And I think we're making tremendous progress in demonstrating the sensitivity to the residential community. And I believe that these view sims and the lowering of the dome wrap has made a tremendous difference. In this location, you can really see what I was talking about earlier, that by reducing the circumference of the sign itself really was a positive benefit to the neighboring community. Just quickly going through this, some of the clarifications were that we had a hearing in April. We've moved now more than 6 months. And again, for your knowledge, we will be going to the Planning Commission on February 8th. If those of you that are tenants would note that, I know that our team is working with you, but it's important that you do get that date in your calendar, 6 p.m., because we would love you to call in and give us support. It's going to be very important to Tyler's accomplishing this goal of getting these LED signs approved. Just why, again, we had to address a number of community concerns, the lighting, safety, size and square footage, ad content, and revenues. The safety of these signs, and this has been a hard thing to communicate, but I think we're getting there. People don't understand that these signs are actually overseen by Caltrans, the safety of the intersections, and they in fact have a division of outdoor advertising, which I did not realize until this time. So Tyler's got his initial approval and he's got a certification number, as you can see on this letter. And then once we get approval of the city, he has to go back to get final approval.
So this,
oh, go ahead, Tyler.
this was really hard to actually get, but we already received state. But yeah, so I mean, we already received state. So, and that's a big deal. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So now that we've gotten state approval, which was supposed to be a really hard part, you know, it's the final push is getting it over the city. You know, we've come a long way. So this is the final push that we need everyone's help in. If
thank you.
we can
that's
just
correct.
kind of help push it over the edge.
So what we heard from the community and why this has taken so long is that there was a lot of misinformation placed out in the community. There was a YouTube video that was being shown over and over again that talked about flashing and animation. And so just to be clear, we've addressed these issues. There is no flashing and there is no animation. There is movement and there's a refresh frequency of once every 8 seconds, but there's no flashing, there's no neon, and there's no animation. The system is an incredible system in terms of adaptability. And one of those ways that it can adapt to adjust to fog, which is important for safety. So it has a dimmable system. And finally, there is a third, the conditions of approval by the city require that there be, so when Triangle Square gets its approval by the Planning Commission and City Council, there will be a third party confirmation of the light levels for adjacent neighbors also required. This is just, you know, we're confirming that we are adding these square footages. We're trying to keep our credibility with the community and with the government officials. So we are acknowledging that the dome wrap, the Newport Boulevard sign, and the 19th and Newport Boulevard sign all together in digital, the proposed digital signage as it sits today before we enter public hearings is that 2,690 square feet. One of the important things with the community, they didn't believe us, and we've had to spend a lot of time trying to explain that settlement agreements are real agreements between the property owner and the city of Costa Mesa, and they do prohibit obscene, what's being defined as obscene content that you see here. So I won't read these all to you, but basically obscene content, adult music, adult businesses, alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana. But what can be involved from the signage, which is good for everybody, all boats rise. So all retailers in Costa Mesa, when they go through a program, after the tenants get what they need, the other people in Costa Mesa can also advertise on these LED signs, including SoCo, South Coast Plaza, if they come and ask. Finally, the last point that we want to make is that Tyler's team negotiated with the city of higher gross revenue than most cities. Most cities now are getting some form of revenue out of LED signage. That's kind of become a new trend. As you know, there's an LED sign at the Spectrum. There's an LED sign in the Buena Park Center that just got built. And most of those are not as high in what they get from the revenues, but Tyler negotiated 25% of the gross revenues go to the city, and they will be accumulated for 3 years, sort of in a kitty, and they will be paid, that percent will be paid at the end of the third year, and then thereafter will be made quarterly. We believe that those revenues will be approximately $500,000 annually or higher. That's kind of a starting number. Tyler believes that those numbers will really ramp up as things get moving. Why is this important? It's important, as we all know, right now, Costa Mesa, as all cities because of COVID, are suffering from the lack of sales tax, and that comes from you, tenants of the Triangle Square. And they are they're really looking at how we ramp up again to get sales tax back up. So that's a very important component. Plus, Tyler at Triangle Square pays property taxes. And the combination of all those things provides parks, police, fire, and infrastructure for the city of Costa Mesa. So that concludes our presentation, Carla. And thank you, everybody that is here watching us, and we are open for question and answer.
Okay, I have one question here. It says the type of electronic billboard exists in Europe and other countries for many years. The best and most fair to all tenants would be equal time every day on a rotation basis. Can we adopt such an approach?
That'd go to Tyler.
Yeah, I think that would be, I don't know if that would actually benefit us because, people need it on different days and whatnot. But for the most part, if you're communicating with Jeff or myself, we'll make sure that when you need it, you have it. I think being even wouldn't really wouldn't make sense. So, especially with our types of programming.
Okay, thank you. And second question, would the lights show on top of the dome like in the examples?
Yes, and I'll just answer that. They're flexible. The proposal, and Tyler, you can finish, but I was just going to say the proposal right now is to have a soft hue of light on that dome, but that is not, that we can change that if there's issues and concerns with that. Tyler, did you have to add to that?
Yeah, for the most part, that's an aesthetic thing that we just think would be more beautiful and beautify the center. Obviously it's very dimmable, and if that's a concern, that's something we can address. But I think it would be nice to kind of just have the lights be fluid like that.
Okay, thank you. Question is, would we be able to share this PowerPoint presentation with attendees after this meeting? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
So we can get that out to the attendees.
And then Carla, is there any more questions? I just wanted to say one conclusion, very comment.
Another question. So the main reason for having it as a revenue source for the property owner, is that correct? Billboards get thousands and thousands of advertising dollars per month.
I would say that that's one of the primary functions. That's correct. You know, helping our tenants and everyone else, you know, I think it's equal. There's defined, city's going to get allocation on it. The revenues will be shared with the city. The primary use will be for our tenants and for advertising. But yes, so.
Okay, thank you. Next question, would businesses in the square get changed for ad space? What percentage would go to the square business versus out of square businesses?
Square as in like the tenants?
Yeah, Triangle Square.
So
Yeah.
we're going to be doing our best to obviously sell ad space while we can. I don't think there would be necessarily, you know, initially, obviously, you got to build the demand and whatnot. So for the most part, you know, we're going to be working with tenants and doing as much as we can, but we will be trying to increase our, try to get as much revenue as we can. But there are limits as to how much we can do in the development agreement. And we have to share at least, you know, it needs to be a fair amount each. That's the way it's defined in the development agreement. So the tenants will get ample amount of ad space, and people outside the center will be paying for ad space. And then there's another one from Natalie Chavez. Will other local small businesses outside of Triangle be able to advertise? Yes, that's correct. If you're inside of the city of Costa Mesa, that's correct. The city themselves will have an allocation, which they can determine what they want to do with. So, you know, they're going to be putting city programming, and if they would like to promote other tenants in the city of Costa Mesa, they can do that. But for the most part, if they would like to advertise and it's not in the city's allocation, then you know, we would ask that they pay for it.
Okay, I think that's it.
And there would be no charge for tenants. Jennifer Perkins asked that.
Okay, great. I believe that's it for the questions. Any other questions?
Well, we have one from Eric. He says, will the messages rotate every few seconds or minutes, or are they set?
So the
8 seconds.
messages will change every 8 seconds. So for a total of 8 times in a minute. So the rotations are every 56 seconds. So every 8 seconds it'll change, and the transitions between between the different images will be very seamless. So it's not going to be like a crazy shift. It's going to be more like the video that was there.
Great. I believe that's all for,
There's another question.
there's another, okay, I apologize, let me look. Would competing business from the outside be able to also be featured?
If you're outside of where, yeah, I mean, if you're in the city of Costa Mesa, yes.
Okay, great.
So Carla, can we wrap up? Are you ready?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. And again, I apologize that we had a little technical difficulty, but glad we got our presentation done. And thank you everybody so much. I think the development agreement is clear. It's kind of addressing a lot of your questions, that if you own a business in the city of Costa Mesa, you are allowed to apply and be on these LED signs. That is in the development agreement that is between Triangle Square and the city of Costa Mesa. So you are assured the right to be there. I just wanted to again ask that it's very important that if you do agree with the program and you would like to see this program move forward, that you voice your opinion on February 8th at the Planning Commission hearing. And I think Carla and her staff can help you if you have questions of how to make that happen, but it is a public hearing. It starts at 6 o'clock. If you go to the city's website, it directs you to the Planning Commission, which directs you to the agendas, which directs you to a link of how to call in to the meeting or write a letter of support. It really would be very helpful. We do have opposition. There are people in the community that don't think that business needs help. And I think all of us acknowledge that are in business that COVID has been hard on everybody, especially Triangle Square. And we really do need as much support as we can get at that hearing so that we can proceed forward. And thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and your support. And that concludes my part, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you everyone for taking the time. The most important thing is if you see a benefit to this, if you could work with Carla and just try to voice your support for it. We know it would be a tremendous benefit to the city and business. We'd really appreciate if you could voice your support and maybe be present for the Planning Commission hearing on February 8th so that the planning commissioners know that you are in support. And I think either Carla or maybe Cora, we can work with everyone who's interested to make sure that their voices are also heard. We've done our best to account for community concerns, light pollution, potential viewing of the signs from people's homes. So for the most part, and safety and tons of other concerns. So we've really done our best. It's taken close to 3 years to get to this point, and anybody's support that could be shown in these final strides would really help us push it over the edge. And then to close, Jennifer Perkins asked one question. I think they're asking, for example, if another Halloween store were outside of Triangle Square, could they advertise even though it competes with a Triangle Square tenant? And yeah, that's something that if you work with the city during their allocation, the city has that right. We wouldn't object to it, and it's not in the development agreement. So I think that's fair. So.
And just one final comment, Carl, I want to make sure everybody understands. The meeting is via Zoom. So when we say participate, you can't go to City Hall right now, as you know, it's closed. So you have to go online and watch the meeting from your own personal computer. And then they'll have a phone number up there and they'll say, if you want to support or if you want to be part of the community comments for Triangle Square, then the chairman will open up the meeting so that you can do that.
I just dropped our community outreach email in case anybody
wants
us, more information on supporting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Again, thank you very much.
Maybe if we could get Carla, question.
Yes.
If we have everyone's email that's here, we could just send them like an outline of like the contact info or something like that. Or maybe Cora and I will follow up. But maybe we can share. If we could get that from you, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, we have the email addresses of all of our participants. Yes, I can provide that to you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you
guys,
again.
thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
day.
you very much for your time, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Carla.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.